In this lesson, we will understand what are date calculations in Tableau. With that, we will also see some common types of date calculations, that is the built-in functions provided by Tableau for date calculations. We will also implement such calculations on Tableau. Let us start. So date calculations in Tableau are powerful tools for manipulating and analyzing date and time data. Here we have divided some common date calculations into basic date manipulation, relative date calculations, period over period calculations, and advanced calculations. So for understanding this, we will consider the fields as date field 1, date field 2, and others. Okay. So these are basically the built-in functions provided by Tableau for date manipulation. We are beginning with the date calculations. If you want to get the current date, use the today method. For the date part, let's say it's 25th December 2024. So you want to get the year out of it, use the year method. To get the month, use the month. To get the exact day, you need to use the day method. To get the difference between dates, use the date diff method. For adding the dates, use the date add. So these were basic date calculations. Now to manipulate date, you have date trunc to truncate the date, truncate to month, quarter, year. If you want to round down the dates, use the floor method. If you want to round up the dates, you'll use the ceiling method. To format the date, use the date to string method and mention the exact format. These were the date manipulation calculations or functions. Now these are relative date calculations methods. For getting the previous date, use the today method and subtract 1 from it. For last week, subtract 7. For last month, subtract 30. For last quarter, subtract 90. And for year to date, use the following formula. For period over period, that means for year over year, let's say for month over month, these are the methods. That is the date add method, and within that you need to mention the specific values to achieve the purpose of getting period over period value. Then comes your advanced method. Let's say you want to get the age, so the following is the method. Use the date diff as well as the today method. For next or previous occurrences, use the date add method, and within that for previous occurrences mention -1. For date range, use the date diff method and mention the range within it, including the start date as well as the end date. That is the range. Now we will see an example to implement date calculations. We already have a workbook Amit_Tableau_calculations, and within that we will create a new sheet and name it date calculations. We already added numeric and string calculations in the same workbook. So now we will add date calculations sheet. Let us see the example. Here is our Tableau. I'll add a new worksheet by clicking here, and I'll double click and rename it. Okay, now we have date calculations sheet in Amit_Tableau_calculations workbook. Now we will create a calculated field. Click the analysis menu, then click create calculated field. After clicking calculated field, click here so that all the methods are visible. Now click here to get the date, and all the date methods we just discussed are visible. Now these are the date functions. Let us set the name of the calculation. I'll just set it to date_difference. So in the previous lesson we also saw we need to add the formula here. We will find the date difference. Okay. So this is the date difference, and the following is the syntax and explanation with an example. So I'll double click, and now we have the date difference. First mention the date part, that means the day we will mention. Then the start date. Start date we will mention the order date. Then the ship date. After that mention the start of week. I'll mention, let's say, Monday, and that's it. So what is this day? I'll first give it a quote. So this is the date part. We saw that the date part can be a day, year, month. Okay, so we have mentioned day here, and here we are finding the difference between two dates. That means the order and the ship date, and the result will be in the day units. The start of the week we have set is Monday. We will get the days it takes to ship products, and that is the formula, and there are no error message. I'll click apply, then OK. Okay, now we have a field date underscore difference under the measures. Now we will implement drag the region to the rows shelf and the date underscore difference to the text in the marks shelf here. So this is the date underscore difference, and I'll set it to the text, drag it. Okay, now right click on the sum date difference, that means here, because we have sum here. Okay, I'll go to here and click average for the aggregation. We are changing the aggregation level to average. So we'll select average to get the average of the date difference region wise. Okay, that's why we are doing this. Now we have the average. Average date difference is visible. This shows the average days it takes to ship products. In central it's 4, let's say 4 days. In east it's like 3.9, consider it as 4 days. South 3.9 and west 3.9. Okay, I can set it to entire view to view it like this or standard. So we found the average days it takes to ship products in all the regions using the date calculations. I'll save it. Thank you for watching the video.